would you tell us a little bit about yourself before we move on into all the other questions?
I have really always been interested in mind exploration, always, since I can think. Always, it was always fascinated me. What happens after we die? That was kind of, I really thought it was strange that we didn't know that. When I became aware of Raymond Woody's work about near-death experiences when I was 13 years old, I read the book, and this was stories of people who had near-death experiences through a heart attack or through drowning or being in a coma or something. And then they were dead for like 3-4 minutes or something, or some of them were actually in a coma. And when they came back, some of them had like an experience. They had like kind of a memory of leaving their body, seeing the being of light, cities of light, you know, going through a tunnel. You know, the typical what we all know nowadays. But when Raymond Woody started with this 40 years ago with the investigation of that, we didn't know most of the stuff. And the interesting stuff is that everybody on every continent, they had the same kind of experiences. Obviously, not everybody was living through the whatever, let's say 20 different aspects of it. But when they did, they had the same kind of vision, but they would call it different things. So, for example, a Christian, when they would see the being of light, they would say this was Jesus. And if it was a atheist, for example, he didn't believe in anything, then he would call it the being of light or the being of love. Or when, you know, if it was a Muslim, he would call it Muhammad came to him, you know, and things like that. So it fascinated me. But the most important thing in that is when I read that, the very first encounter, I had like a memory flashback. Suddenly I remembered that is exactly how it was. That, you know, I cannot recall having a near-death experience, but that is exactly how it felt to me, you know. It felt, wow, this is exactly how it was for me. So and then I started investigating more and more, and it's kind of even opened my mind more up to exploring the human consciousness, everything about telepathy, about mediumships, about all these kind of things. Experimented with meditation, everything. Really early, you know, we're talking about before I even hit puberty. And another thing is that I always had a deep knowledge that wishes are coming true. If you wish the right way, they will come true.
And that's so beautiful that we actually have in common, right? Like where I call it soul-aligned manifesting, you call it wishful wishing.
Or manifestation.
Yeah, it's the same. Creating, manifesting, wishing, putting your intention out there. Yeah.
Exactly. So that really what it is, it's just different words. I mean, they're just words. You know, it is about the feeling, it's about the experience, which is really the same for every person, I believe. And anyway, so at 22 years old, I had my first child. And that was that. I had to look after my kids, and I had to figure out what I wanted to do. I was living in Austria. I thought Austria was way too cold. I needed to leave. I was like, I need to leave. I need to go and live in a warm country. And when I was pregnant with my second child, I was 24. We left to Gran Canaria. I was working on commission always, so I knew that I had to, if I wanted to be successful in my work, I had to apply all those manifestation techniques and the wishful thinking and so on, and my hard work techniques and all this. I had to apply it on a kind of a daily basis, or even sometimes on an hourly basis, to be able to prosper, which I did. I prospered. And after my third child turned 2, I came across something which was called the Course in Miracles. This is a book which is a course of 365 lessons. While I was doing that, I was thinking I really have to figure out about this near-death experience, or if there's any way that I can figure out how to do those out-of-body experiences. And that's when I came across the Monroe Institute. There are programs where they're teaching out-of-body experiences, where they're teaching expansion of consciousness, where they're teaching how to bend spoons and light bulbs and make plants grow in your hand.
I want to ask you, have you been able to manage to bend spoons?
Yes. Yeah.
Amazing. I want to hear all about that.
You hold the spoon and you kind of concentrate. You kind of feel into the spoon, and the spoon then suddenly gets very warm. You know, it's not like because you're doing anything. You kind of just hold it and suddenly
your energy, correct?
You hold it.
Both together to bend the spoon.
You do it physically, so you do have to hold it physically.
Yeah.
But if you try to bend the spoon, when, for example, also you've got different thicknesses. So you are training first with something which is really thin, and then you go to a thicker thing. The ones which are really good at it, they can even bend plastic spoons without breaking. Amazing, you know. Even the pins on the plastic, on a plastic fork, they can actually turn it around like this without it breaking. It's very difficult because plastic is not normally an energy transmitter. Metal is.
Yes.
So it's very, very interesting. So, but what I learned is for myself is that when you're holding this spoon, you kind of meditating, and obviously you have to get into an expanded state of consciousness, and you kind of talking to the spoon or something. You're kind of talking, I want to be able to do this, intention. And then suddenly the spoon gets hot. And then suddenly it's easy to turn. Suddenly it's easy. So you can kind of go like this. And then then it's over and it's hard again. And you can't bend it no more. It's very, very, it's amazing.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yes. So what I learned from that everything in life starts with an intention.
Correct.
Then you have to wait for the right moment.
Even time.
Exactly. Then you have to wait for the right moment. And then when the moment is right, that's when you can do your thing.
When is the right moment then? When do you recognize?
Well, I did recognize it physically when it got warm. You kind of, but you don't even have to touch it. You just suddenly know, obviously you're working with your intuition, you suddenly know that now it's the time. And then you suddenly can do it. So you can actually turn it like this. And, it's very interesting. Obviously, I've done it only that one time. That was enough for me, because what I needed to do, I just needed to learn I needed to understand how is the mechanism, and that's it. For me, everything what we do in this life, it's always just a mechanism to understand how certain things work, so we can actually return to the essence of who we truly are.
Wow, that's powerful, huh? And before we would continue on our recording on Zoom, so we can, showcase the whole talk that we're going to have later on to people. But what is, in short, how can you practice an outer body experience?
Okay, so the out of body experience starts a long time before you actually have an out of body experience. You have to understand, how do you perceive the world? The way I perceive the world and the way you perceive the world is different.
Yeah.
So many people, I have seen it now, especially now since I'm a lot on Instagram building up this Lucid Mind Center account. I see a lot of people who are saying, oh, you have to do out of body experiences. You have to go and lie in your bed, and then you have to move your body left and right, and then you step out of the body.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that for everybody. It might work for some like that, but not for everybody. And when you're giving people this kind of advice, you actually hindering them of having the out-of-body experience, because everybody has a different way. There's different exits. The out-of-body experience for me, it starts in the moment you actually close your eyes and you start visualizing. So that is the first thing. It is, can you actually visualize? Can you, if I say to you and everybody who's listening to now, do not think about a lemon.
Yeah,
what is it you see
about the lemon? Do not think about the pink elephant. When you see a big elephant.
Exactly. So this is where it starts. So you're starting with your imagination, and you then go into this, you first of all go into this very calm, relaxed state. You go into a place where you kind of feel safe. It starts with an imagination, and as you are getting more and more relaxed, and you have put your attention there, you've put your protection there, then you slowly ask, you ask for what you want to experience, and then suddenly certain things appearing in your vision, maybe, or they appear physically. You can feel something, or you start hearing things. So you have to also understand, what am I? Am I more a person who is visual? Am I more auditive? Am I more? I can't remember all the different names, but it's from the different senses which we know in our physical body. This is one of them is more prevalent than the other. So some people have got difficulty seeing, but they are really good at hearing.
Yes.
And other people are really good at hearing, but can't feel, so you have to explore, you have to understand how is it that I experience my physical body, and how do I feel, how do I experience extrasensory? What is it? How do I actually perceive this, you know?
So
And
this
then
out
you
of
build.
body experience, sorry to interrupt, it's not how everyone visualizes it, that you see yourself laying in your bed, for example. It can be in different ways,
Like that.
right? Yeah.
It can be like that, but I personally, on my own personal experience and on the people I have been teaching, on the people, I find that it's hindering for them because it is too technical. So you start thinking, oh, I have to do this, this, and this, and actually something is appearing in your vision field, but you go, no, I have to do this. And there was actually somebody who was going to show you how to do it, and you missed it.
Yeah.
You know, so it is sometimes. What I always say, you have to you first have to set the intention, and then you have to go with the flow. You have to go with the peers in your perception. I would say, I would not say in the vision, in your perception. What is it you feel? Do you feel some kind of different sensation on your arms? What do you feel? What do you see? Sometimes it's a question that you're already out of the body and you're already seeing, but you're too close to the object. And then you think, I don't see anything. So what you actually have to learn, you have to learn to move away from the object. So you realize, okay, now I see where I am. So although you've moved and you're actually in the middle of the wall. Oh, it's all black. Well, maybe you need to learn how to move forward or backward. So this is the kind of thing. So it's very, very important that you first of all understand where you are standing yourself. And this is what the magic thing is about the Monroe Institute. Because Robert Monroe was so, he was such a technical person, so he kind of analyzed it back and forth, and he created different programs which are helping people to explore different things. And it helped me greatly, because when I went to the Monroe Institute, is that when I realized that I have already had out-of-body experiences.
Correct.
I just
that you were not aware of at that point. So it's also understanding then, when you are in these different states of consciousness, that you recognize that and then learn to basically manipulate or play with it.
Play, very important. Yes, Cinderella, yes. Play is very important. You have to understand it and play and have fun and not be afraid, because there's people who are afraid. There's people who are teaching fear. That is even worse. You know, they are saying, oh, there's this. Obviously, you have to be careful, because if you fall into fear, you're attracting fear images.
For everyone who have been watching Judith or me, you can connect with us, of course, on Instagram. Give us a follow if you want. Ask anything you want to know about her, about me, about what we do. And nice to meet you all. Judith, I see you in a little bit.